Our modern models assume the universe is a dead, mechanical machine, but an older perspective views reality as an overwhelming, infinite field of cosmic signals. If the universe is actually composed of this rushing, endless data, we have to ask why human consciousness doesn't simply drown in the signal. The answer suggests our nervous system is more than a recording device. It's a biological compression system. By stepping down that infinite information, it creates a manageable experience that a finite biological body can survive. In this framework, the true boundary of reality is not located billions of light years away in the deep cosmos. It sits right at the edge of human perception. Ancient traditions addressed this same threshold using the symbolic language of their time, long before we developed technical or computing vocabulary. This is the model of the cosmic egg, a conceptual framework for the observer's interaction with the infinite. It describes an observer safety architecture, the necessary boundary that permits localized experience to happen within a contained environment. Our modern physical maps often fail to find absolute boundaries because they look for physical walls rather than the limits of human perception. These ancient cosmologies were diagrams of the survival parameters of consciousness, an effort to map the internal limits of the human observer. If we treat the cosmic egg as a biological filter, we have to account for what happens when that filter is temporarily bypassed. This is the context for the DMT experience. It is often described as a journey, yet we can look at it as a systemic threshold event. Symbolically, DMT functions as the instrument panel rather than the proof. It marks a moment where the biological compression system drops its normal safeguards. When the translation layer breaks down, the sensory flood is immediate. The infinite signal of reality rushes in without its usual filter. These states are not travel to distant locations. They are the raw data of reality rendering directly to a mind without the safety shell of the cosmic egg. When the biological filter drops, observers consistently report encountering gates, complex geometry, and distinct entities. These threshold reports often mirror the symbolic architecture found on ancient sky maps and temple ceilings. One method for reading these maps is to view the gods not as historical characters, but as celestial job titles. In Egyptian cosmology, the goddess Nut forms the firmament. She is a boundary figure, arching over the observer as the ultimate sky layer. The figures beneath her represent functional roles. A gatekeeper serves as transition logic. A messenger figure operates as memory routing. We see this density in the Dendera zodiac. These figures are not mere decorations. They compress cosmic timing and routing instructions into the stone. In this reading, mythic figures are the underlying systems of reality, attempting to render themselves visually to a finite mind. Surface details in world myths rarely agree. One tradition emphasizes temple crypts, while others use a cosmic dragon or Taoist elemental flow layers. If we move past the literal costumes of the myth, we can test these disagreements to find the shared human problem they solve. The invariant beneath them is the translation layer, a necessary filter for an unmanageable field of information. Later historical maps, like this stereographic projection, took a different approach. They projected rigid grids onto the unknown to constrain the infinite into measurable sectors. The repeating pattern across civilizations is not a set of literal details, but the consistent design of a protective filter. The cosmic egg model establishes the translation contract between the infinite cosmos and the finite observer. Within this framework, the shell is not a prison meant to trap humanity. Reclaiming this perspective, the Great Remembrance, acts as a process of decompression, helping us understand the original architecture of the observer. The shell provides the essential safety filter that allows human experience to exist without overwhelming the biological system. Our biological and perceptual limits are the very architecture that makes our lives possible.